Hi guys, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm back again, Fanny, your tutor. So let's talk about just the basic demand and supply model over here. So we have this graph over here. So this is the graph that you have over here. You have price on the vertical axis, you have quantity on the horizontal axis, and this upward sloping curve is known as your supply curve, and this one, the downward sloping curve, is known as what is known as your demand over here. So basically the demand curve is what the willingness for the willingness for consumers to do what to consume, and the supply over here is what is the willingness for what the willingness of suppliers to do what to supply a product into the market. And where they intersect over here, they establish they establish an equilibrium at this point over here. We can call this just a Q star, and this one a P star over here. That's what they establishing over here. So let's look at this one over here. This price over here is called the market price, right? This is the market clearing price. So it's called the market clearing price because it's a point whereby the demand intersects the supply. At this point over here, the suppliers are happy with the price that they're charging, and the consumers are happy with the price that they're paying. Let us say if it happens that the price is set somewhere here, the maximum price is set over here. Let's call this the P max. If you have a P max, especially in regulated industries, you can have something like this over here. So let's call this point A, B. There's 2 points over here. So a situation whereby you have a P max over here, a price, just a price control over here, you can see that the demand is more than the It is more than the supply over here. The demand is more than the supply, so the demand is to the right of the supply. What do you see over here? This section, this AB is called it's going to be called an excess demand, or a shortage. It means that what the consumers are demanding, the suppliers cannot meet. Do you see that? That's basically this thing called the demand, the excess demand. So right now, what needs to happen in order for the equation, in order for the economy to go back to equilibrium? It means that the price must do what the price must then increase to go forward for the economy to go back to equilibrium where it was. So this kind of situation over here creates what you call, it's going to create a black market, because this is the lowest price that the suppliers can sell at. But now, when the price is lower, the suppliers, they feel like they cannot recuperate their cost. They cannot make a profit over here. So it's like they end up supplying less into the market. If this is QS and this is QD, this is something that you are looking at over here. If it happens that you have a minimum price that is set over here, that is your price minimum. Let's call this equation C. Let's call this point C, and this one point D. So over here, whereby the maximum price, known as the minimum price, is set above the equilibrium price. What's going to happen over here? Over here, the supply is to the right of is to the right of the demand over here. It means you have you have an excess supply. What it means is that when the price is above the equilibrium price over here, the sellers are willing to do what the sellers or the producers are willing to supply more things into the market. But now the consumers are not willing to do are not willing to demand. So this thing is called the excess supply, or a surplus. That is something that you are looking at over here. So right now, what needs to happen in order for this thing to go back to equilibrium? It means the price must actually go down. So this P minimum is basically what the government uses to do to set what you call the minimum wages over here. D being the demand for labor by businesses, the supply being the total supply of labor in the market. So basically, when they set this minimum price, you see a huge influx of workers into the market looking for work, right? But what happens is that the demand for labor by the firms is now low. So this section over here can be called sometimes called unemployment. This point over here, whereby the total labor that is in the market is not demanded by the firms or the companies over here. This price control, the price max over here, is usually applicable in your energy energy sector. So in terms of what the price of gas, the price of electricity, and the price of petroleum, this is basically what you're gonna see happening over here. So that's basically the demand and supply model in a nutshell. So in terms of ESCOM, we can say that ESCOM is actually operating at this point over here, whereby the supply is what the supply is shown by what, by the different generation units that ESCOM has. But we see that ESCOM is currently constrained in terms of producing more power. What happens is that the demand of electricity by us, by your industries, by your residential, by your so many industries that are demanding electricity. The demand is over here, but the supply is over here. So we end up causing what excess demand. This excess demand means what the power stations must work extra hard to do what to supply more power to us. So that's basically a demand model. So this demand model is being used in what, when you are doing what you call a partial equilibrium. A partial equilibrium, basically when you want to understand a certain industry. So I hope you guys understand. If you guys have more questions, please post them on the comments, and I'll be more than happy to address the questions. That's your demand and supply model. I'm done for the night. Have a good night, guys. See you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.